Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Welcome back to Power Rankings. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're back and better than ever. We got the Diamondbacks playing some good baseball lately. What the heck is going on with the Mets? Steve Cohen isn't too happy about it. We're going to talk about it. Elly Cruz is awesome. My goodness. Can my Red Sox please win this game tonight? Let's get to it. Baseball fans, how you doing? Hello. Who we got here in the chat tonight? I see Brian Acevedo. I think I pronounced that right. How you doing, my friend? Ballin' with AC. Hello. Robert Wolfpack is here. We got some moderators. Nicholas is here in the chat. Wonder Davey, one of our members. Athletics 510. Athletics 510. Oh my goodness. Your A's. They're on top of the world, my friend. Oh, my goodness. I think the A's are going to the World Series this year. They just can't lose. My goodness. Who else we got in here? We got Santino. How you doing? We got Derek Gutierrez. Hello. Cowboys season. How you doing? We got Robert in the chat. We got Doug in the chat. How you doing, everyone? How you doing? Who else we got? We got Randall in here. Benjamin. How you doing? Everyone, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks. Last week, I decided just to not do the power rankings. I know I said I was, going to try maybe do them Monday or Tuesday. If you weren't here last week, I went live for the Bros vs. Pros 2 in North Carolina. Myself and a lot of other baseball channels out there, Draft Neck Mark, Stark Raving Sports, and That's Baseball. RBT was there. He's not really a baseball channel. He does more Madden, but that guy has over 1 million subscribers, and my goodness, even he was there. King of JUCO was playing with us. We had College Burnout with us. It was a great time. That's the second year in a row we've played in that game. Of course, we got our heinies handed to us. What can you do? We played the Burlington Sock Puppets. Man, they have got some really good players on that team, man. They were so good. If you didn't watch, I got in that bat and I struck out looking because that pitcher that was going up against me was absolutely nasty. I don't understand how these hitters, especially, and that was, these were college level players that we were playing. I don't understand how Major League Baseball hitters hit this kind of pitching. Like, it's insane. For anyone that, likes to, trash on hitters, like whatever, if they're slumping or something, listen, it is extremely difficult, man, to go up and go hit 90+ mile an hour pitching. And when they're throwing just curveballs and sliders in there, oh my God, it's not even fair. I don't know how these guys do it. It's absolutely insane. But, that's where I was last week. I was in North Carolina. I was in Burlington. It was a great time. A lot of people showed up. Conman752, he is a loyal supporter of the channel. He's been around for a while. He's one of our Orioles fans, and he showed up at the game. I got to meet him. That was awesome. Took a picture. Had a couple other people I took a picture with, and hey, it was a great time. And just being around all these other guys, who have channels like Giraffe Neck Mark, like Eric Sim. Oh, Foolish Baseball was there. How could I forget? That was like probably the highlight of the entire trip for me. I got to do commentary with Foolish Baseball. It was Absolutely amazing. I just absolutely loved it. Urinating tree. He actually made some contact. That was just crazy. I never thought that guy would ever make contact, and he did. Yeah, he did better than I did. But anyway, I'm rambling. That's where I was last week. So we didn't do power rankings, and we're back. We're better than ever. We're doing power rankings tonight. We got some movement here tonight. We got a couple teams moving on up, couple teams moving down. I guarantee I'm going to make some people mad with these power rankings. I'm going to get some people upset. Some people are going to say, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. And that's the norm around here when it comes to the power rankings. If you are new to the power rankings, I start at 30 and I go all the way to number 1. I kind of just go through each team a little bit, talk about some stats, talk about what's going on with the team, the organization lately. And hey, we just have a good old time here. So everyone, thank you for joining us for another round of power rankings. It's probably going to be a bit more consistent now. If you remember, about a month ago, I came down with just like an awful stomach bug, had to cancel power rankings, and then obviously last week I was gone. So I think we're going to be, base hit for my Red Sox. Here we go. Oh, we got a score. Oh, we got a run. All right. I forgot we're in extra innings now, so we had the runner on second. All right, the Red Sox take the lead, everyone. But we're going to be a little bit more consistent now with the power rankings. And if you haven't noticed, I've uploaded a few videos in the last week. Go check it out. I did a video on the Marlins yesterday. I did a video on my Red Sox a couple nights ago. So go check those out if you haven't already. I got a couple more videos coming up this week. I'm going to be doing one on the Cincinnati Reds. I'm pretty excited about that one. And hey, we're getting closer and closer to trade season. So you all know what that means. I love my trades. I love the trade rumors. And John Bitzer, the owner of BaseballTradeValues.com, will be making his return to the channel. We will be doing a live show this week, probably Wednesday night. That's what we're going for, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Very excited to have John back on the show. We're going to talk about some trade candidates, who we could look out for, and just kind of talk about what to expect with the trade market this year. I think it's going to be a little different than we've seen in the last couple of years. The starting pitching market is going to be thinner than we've seen in the last couple of years. We got a couple of bigger names out there, but it's going to be interesting, and we're going to talk about it with John on Wednesday night. So make sure you come out Wednesday night and come watch the show. All right. Let's get into it here, but just going over a couple of quick sponsors. We are sponsored here by Sorare MLB. It's my new favorite way to play fantasy baseball. If you were into collecting cards as a kid, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever the heck cards you like to collect, I think Sorare MLB will be the game for you. You collect cards and you get to use those cards to build your team. Click the link in the description down below to get started and draft your team. We are also sponsored here by BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs, whether that's Major League Baseball. We still got the NBA Finals. I think we still have hockey going on. I don't know what the heck's going on with that. Football is going to be returning eventually. You got UFC. If you're looking to bet on any sports, go check out BetOnline. Use my code BLEAV, BLEAV, to get a 50% welcome bonus to get started. And one more. We are partners here with SeatGeek. I know a lot of you are going to games, so why not just use my code HYDE? You get $20 off on your order. SeatGeek, you usually tend to find some pretty good deals on there. So go check it out. Use the code HYDE. You get $20 off on your order. Okay, enough of me rambling. Let's get to it here, everyone. Here we go. Okay. Do I have the music? I got to get the music. Almost forgot the music, everyone. Almost forgot the music. Oh, there's a ground ball to short. No. Oh, is he safe? Oh, he beat it out. All right. Beats it out at first. That's what I like to see. I thought we just had an inning-ending double play right there. I'll take it. All right, here we go, everyone. Let's get to it. Okay. Starting off at number 30. Is that the wrong date? Oh, I got the wrong date. My goodness, I can't do anything right, it seems. That is not the correct date. I knew I forgot something, everyone. Oh, goodness gracious. What is the date today? It is June 11th. It is actually... Oh, that's deep! What the heck was that catch? Oh, my goodness, what a catch that was! Oh! What the heck was that? Oh, I thought we just had a home run. Whoa. What was that, Bowers? Oof. I mean, he didn't rob it, but man, goodness gracious. I thought we just had a home run. Here we go, everyone. Enough of me rambling here. At number 30, we got, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of didn't want to put this team here this week because they've been playing great baseball. I'm going to give them another week. Maybe the Oakland A's can get themselves out of the 30 spot. They're playing great baseball lately, ladies and gentlemen. They have won 5 in a row. They won 2 out of 3 against the Pirates this week. They swept the Brewers this week. I mean, my goodness, Oakland, they're just great. They're actually hitting the ball really well. They're second in offense this past week. Jace Peterson, he's hitting over 400 in his last 6 games. Jonah Bride hitting 375 over his last 6. And Ray Noda. Keep an eye out for Ray Noda. He is actually first in the American League in Fangraph WAR among all rookies. He's hitting 241, but he has over a 400 on base, and he's got a 448 slugging, 7 home runs. So that's a name to keep an eye out for in the American League. We're going to talk about Corbin Carroll here in a little bit. I think he's going to run away with that award in the National League. But I think the American League, it's a little more up in the air, I would say. So he's going to have some tough competition in the American League. There's some good players in the American League. But number 29. And hey, one more thing. Oakland, man. Can we have another good week from Oakland? Maybe I'll move them up next week to 29. Could you imagine? Oh, yeah, Santino as well. You got Gunnar Henderson as well. I mean, my goodness. It's going to be a tough race in the American League for Rookie of the Year. At number 29, we got the Kansas City Royals. Listen, I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. The Royals stink. They got swept by the Marlins and the Orioles this week. They did nothing. I'm moving on. We got the White Sox. What the heck? What is going on here? I already goofed up. Well, I got the White Sox at 25, everyone. White Sox at 25. I goofed up. At number 28, we got the Rockies. The Rockies... not an amazing week for them. They got swept by the Giants. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Padres this week. But Nolan Jones with a walk-off home run today. I've been telling you, look out for Nolan Jones. This is a guy who couldn't really get his footing with the Cleveland Guardians. And, hey, maybe he can start doing some more damage out in Colorado. But the walk-off home run for him today. At number 27, we got the Tigers. Man, the Tigers have just completely fallen off the face of the earth. They lost Riley Green. And now they've just been losing every single game. They've lost 9 games in a row. The Tigers are feeling it right now. They're looking rough. I don't got a whole lot to say. They just stink. I don't know what else to say. At number 26, we got the Nationals. They lost 2 to Arizona this week. But then the third game got canceled due to the air quality. What the heck I'm looking at New York now. Everything looks obviously a lot better now. But what the heck was going on with the air? They were having whatever fires or whatever in Canada, and all the air quality up north in the Northeast was just it looked like an apocalypse. Like that was crazy to look at. But that game was canceled due to the air. And then they also ended up losing 2 out of 3 to the Braves. But one guy to point out, Jeimer Candelario had a 2-run home run today. He has been slumping lately, but I think Jeimer Candelario is going to be a guy to look out for at the trade deadline. I think he's having a pretty decent year this year. I could see a team maybe taking a flyer on him in case they need, maybe another third baseman, another bat. So I could see that. I already clicked on the White Sox. They're at number 25. The White Sox, listen, I keep holding on to hope that the White Sox can get themselves right. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees this week, but then they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Marlins over the weekend. This White Sox team, man, I've been saying it week to week to week to week to week. There is a lot of talent on this team. This Central is pretty wide open. One good run, the White Sox could be right there. They're not completely out of it, but they're just, I don't know. They're running, it's June 11th. They still got a good few weeks to figure this out. But then again, who knows? Maybe some teams, they're going to start calling about some of these pitchers like Lucas Giolito, maybe a couple of weeks. Hey, listen, we want Lucas Giolito. Maybe they got to start make a decision sooner rather than later. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, this White Sox team. But Luis Robert, want to point him out over his last 7 games. He's hitting .370 and a couple of home runs. Luis Robert, he's having himself a good year. So, and also, one more thing to mention. Mark Feinsand, he was speculating whether or not Michael Kopech could end up being a trade candidate for the White Sox. And he said the big reason is that Michael Kopech... Oh my God. I almost had a heart attack. Goodness, I saw... Jeez. I almost just died on the inside. I thought the Yankees just had a walk-off home run. But nope, it was a fly ball. DJ LeMahieu moves over to third. Oh, goodness. Can the Red Sox please just hang on to this game, for crying out loud? Where was I? Mark Feinsand, he mentioned Michael Kopech being a possible trade candidate, which, you know, it's interesting with Kopech. The value is not very high with him right now. He does have value because he still is on the younger side of 30. He still obviously has good stuff. He's always had good potential. This year, though, he's just not really putting it together. So, but the one thing with Kopech, like I said, he has the potential, but he's also under control for the next few years. So I could see a team maybe making a phone call about him. Maybe, you know, they could see him maybe being a better fit in the bullpen somewhere. He has been in the bullpen before, and he's looked pretty good there. I don't know, man. I've always thought Michael Kopech would end up being a really good closer, but... You know, it's kind of like the Daniel Bard thing. The Red Sox, they were trying to make him a starter. I don't know, but like he was really good in the bullpen, and then it kind of ruined him. I don't know. I don't know if it's really a fair comparison, but I don't know. Keep an eye out for Michael Kopech. If the White Sox continue to just not really get themselves back into contention, I would think maybe pretty much anyone could be up for grabs on the White Sox, besides maybe a couple of guys like a Luis Robert. I don't think Andrew Benintendi would be a trade candidate. You know, you got some other candidates like Lucas Giolito, obviously, is one. Maybe even Liam Hendricks could be a candidate. Joe Kelly. Can Joe Kelly please come back to Boston? I would absolutely love that. Moving on. We got the Cincinnati Reds at 24. This is my team for next year that I think is really going to break out. Kind of like the Diamondbacks this year. I've been calling for the Diamondbacks over the last couple of years to be that team, and the Diamondbacks are looking amazing this year. And I think the Reds are going to be very, very similar next year. I think they're going to be really good. They got some good talent on this team. Man, a lot of these young guys are really showing up, and Elly De La Cruz getting the call. He has been absolutely fantastic. Over 22 AB so far. He's hitting .364, a .481 on base. The slugging is at a 1.117. The guy is out of his mind. He is insane. He has a home run. He's stolen a few bases as well. Elly De La Cruz is going to be a really fun player. And Reds fans, you know, I'm happy for it because that's your future right there. You got a lot of great pieces on this team. Matt McLain has been awesome. I think Corbin Carroll right now is the favorite for the Rookie of the Year. But listen, look out for Matt McLain. If he ends up having a really good season the rest of the way, I think he could maybe get some votes. You know, Matt McLain's been awesome. Over his last 7 games, he's hitting .323, .344 on base, a .516 slugging. He's been really good. You got some young pitching here in Cincinnati. The future is bright for Cincinnati. I think you should be excited if you're a Reds fan. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, you got a strike on that. I thought you called it a ball. At number 23, we got the Guardians. Hey, the Guardians they could be waking up here. This Guardians team had a good series against the Astros. They won that series. They won their series against my Red Sox. They look pretty good there. Shane Bieber looked really good against the Astros today. 7 innings, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts. It's this. They're in this really weird spot, you know, because if the Guardians aren't really in it, then, you know, you probably got to look at Shane Bieber being a trade candidate. I've done a video on it on some teams that I think could be a good fit, so go check it out if you haven't already. But the Guardians, they're going to have themselves a pretty tough decision, you know, depending on, you know, if we go take a look here at the standings. Let me actually pull out the standings. Here we go. Come on. Oh, big strikeout. Chris Martin picking up the save. The Red Sox win the series against the Yankees. That's what I like to see. Back on track. Eat my shorts, Yankee fans. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Let's go check out the standings. Here we go. Oh, I'm revved up over that, man. We needed that series win. We needed that win tonight. But here we go. Gotta love it. So Cleveland, I mean, they're a game and a half out. I think if they're in this spot by, July 1st, second week of July, I think they would probably hang on to Bieber. Probably, I would think. Right, but who knows? Maybe they use Bieber because they really, their offense has been kind of slacking this year. Maybe they end up using Bieber and maybe getting some offense in return. Maybe like a bat, maybe a couple of younger pieces, a couple of prospects. I wonder if the Guardians would do something like that. But then again, I think they're really going to assess too. I think it's also going to come down to, do they think they can actually compete? If any team makes the playoffs, you can compete. But you got a chance to really cash in on Bieber. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all unfolds in Cleveland. So keep an eye out for that. But as for the Guardians themselves, their offense has been good lately. They're 6th in offense over the last 7. Jose Ramirez, he's been red hot over his last 7 games. He's hitting .323, a .400 on base, a .774 slugging, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. He mashed a home run against my Red Sox. I love Jose Ramirez. Josh Bell, he went 3 for 4 today with a home run. Andres Jimenez had a home run today. So the Guardians offense, it's starting to pick up the pace. Hey, look out for the Guardians. Look out. We got the Cubs coming in at number 22. I was pretty high on this Cubs team early on. They were looking really good, but they've fallen back here over the last few weeks. They've not been looking. They were really good starting out. They had a good record. I don't remember what their record was in the first few weeks, but it was really solid. But this past week, they played their 4th game in their series against the Padres. They dropped that. Then they got swept by the Angels, but then they won 2 out of 3 against the Giants. They lost pretty big today. But no, the Cubs kind of an up and down week. Stroman has been pitching really well. Marcus Stroman, I think you could argue, is pitching the best baseball of his life right now. He's looking really good. ERA over his last 3 starts, a 0.83. So Marcus Stroman, you've been hearing him about maybe being a trade candidate. I feel like Stroman, man, it's kind of hard for me to just envision the Cubs trading him just because they wanted to bring him, because this Cubs team, they want to compete. So it'd be I feel like they would like to hang on to him for the next couple of years. I think they would rather rework an extension. That's what even Stroman has said himself. He would like to stay with the Cubs. So I think the Cubs, they've really built are they ready to win right now? No, probably not, but they've really added some pieces over the last couple of years. So I feel like trading Stroman, at least in my opinion, is probably not going to happen. I think they want to hang on to Stroman, for the next couple of years, to see if they can really get back into that playoff contention. But he has been pitching well. Even Kyle Hendricks had a no-hitter going yesterday. Good grief. But the Cubs, other than that, not a whole lot going on. This one might be surprising to some people, but I do have the Cardinals ahead of the Cubs. The Cardinals, man, they looked like they were getting themselves back on track, and then they just completely fell off the face of the earth again. And wow. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this Cardinals team, man. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds and the Rangers this week. They're getting good pitching lately. Michaelis, Montgomery, Flaherty have been pitching well. Arenado, Donovan, Walker, they've been hitting pretty well, but other guys have been slumping. This Cardinals team is good. It's a good team. It's just crazy that they're not putting the wins in the win column. I don't know, because when I'm looking at the stats, they have a good offense. The pitching has been doing well lately. I don't know. This Cardinals team, it just baffles me. Now, I know the bullpen's been a little up and down. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. We'll have to wait and see on the Cardinals, man. I mean, if we take a look right now at the Cardinals, taking a look-see. I mean, we're talking about that AL Central. The NL Central is not a whole lot different. You got the Pirates and you got the Brewers at the top. How about the Pirates, man? Pirates are playing pretty good. But the Cardinals, 3-7 in the last 10. They've dropped into last place again. They're 8 out. We've seen this Cardinals team before get red hot and really make runs. So I think if the Cardinals do end up trading pieces at the deadline, I feel like it's going to be more of a retool. You know, they'll try and, you know, ship out a couple of pieces, but then bring in pieces for next year. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this Cardinals team. You know, with this division, they're not completely out of it. 8 games back is pretty rough. 7 back in the wild card. So if this was in the, you know, American League East, my goodness, like they might as well just pack their bags now. So they're lucky that they're in this division. So, hey, gotta wait and see on this Cardinals team. Moving on here. Moving on. So that wraps up 30 through 21. Let's move on to the next phase. Here we go. Moving on to number 20. Moving on. Okay, let's really dive into this one. At number 20, I got the Mets. I'm baffled. I'm baffled. Wardy, NYM, where are you at, my friend? I mean, I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now. You came into this year with a historic payroll, a good-looking team. I had this team going to the World Series. I'm looking like a complete moron right now. I mean, come on. I think we all saw a talented team. Good pitching on paper at least. Good pitching. Good offense. You know, yeah, they lost a bullpen piece in Diaz. I understand that. But still a good team. I feel like they should be better than what they are right now. I mean, taking a look here. 9.5 back in this division. But the one thing the Mets still have going for them is that they're 3 back in the wild card. Also, why am I down in the... What is going on? Why am I not in the corner like I usually am? What is happening? Why am I all the way down here? I got to move back to my spot. What the heck is going on here? Hold on a second. Hold on. I just feel so out of place. I didn't even notice. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Is it fixed now? Is it fixed? All right. There we go. There we go. Here we go. But yeah, so anyway, sorry about that. The Mets, they are only 3 back in the wild card. That they can thank the National League for that. This National League is not very strong this year. I mean, let's actually pull up here just the league standings. Like, the American League is like crazy. And then, you know, the National League, you got the few teams at the top, and then like everyone, you got like a big old sandwich in the middle here, like a big old mid sandwich. There's not a whole lot of separation here. Like the Phillies, the Padres, the Giants are half a game back. I mean, like, it's crazy. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. If we were to go to the wild card stand, let me pull up the wild card standings. So, Dodgers, Marlins, and then the Brewers. And then you got 5 teams within 3 games. Like that. Hey, look at the Reds. The Reds are 3 games back. How awesome would it be if the Reds won a wild card spot? I would die laughing. If the Reds were a wild card team, I would lose my mind. Anyway, but the Mets. Let's actually talk here about Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen actually had a little bit to say here. He goes on to say about the Mets' slow start. The reality is it's not going to... Well, actually, someone asked if he was planning to blow up the team. DJ Duke, thank you for subscribing, my friend. But he goes on to say here, the reality is it's not going to solve our problems. And I think in some ways it can be demotivating. I think that's the worst thing you can do, is to be overly reactionary. General fan reaction, it's usually, I can't believe Steve's not going nuts, fire somebody. My answer to that is, okay, let's say I went nuts. Let's say I fired somebody. Then what? What does that accomplish? Who are you going to replace them with? This is the middle of the season. And then if you actually ask people, they have no answers. Other than they're just angry, and I get that. I'm frustrated too. He goes on to say here, talking about Billy Epler, their general manager, and Buck Showalter. He goes on to say, Cohen stated that he isn't letting recency bias dictate his decision, saying, "You're better off trying to manage through these periods and not throw your entire plans out the window. It's just not good management or good strategy." So he goes on to say here, there are moments where we've drawn down really hard for whatever reasons, whether it's markets, whether it's something that we did wrong. It doesn't mean I completely change or let people go. I don't operate that way. These are challenges. This is management. This is the moment where you get to witness how your management deals with problems. So, I give him some credit there, because obviously it's not the start that people were looking for. But I appreciate Steve Cohen not really jumping the gun. Now, would George Steinbrenner be the same way? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I would even think maybe even Steinbrenner would say, all right, let's kind of we'll give it a couple more weeks, right? I think Steve Cohen is doing the right thing here, not going crazy, not, firing guys left and right. To me, he seems like he's the calmer George Steinbrenner, if that makes sense. Tons of money, but he's taking the long road. He's going to he's going to let it play out. So I think Steve Cohen, he's doing the right thing. I think the Mets, this is a good team. I don't know what else to really say because they have good names. I think I've said this before. I think the Mets, they're a team that could get hot in the second half because they have the talent. It's just a matter of just getting themselves right. I think the Mets will eventually get back into this. At this point, I think the division, I think that's pretty much out of reach. I mean, I don't know. We've seen bigger comebacks before, but the wild card is absolutely still obtainable. So I think the Mets, give it some time. It is June. I know we all like to say LOL Mets, but I think right now, for how good this team is, and they're only 3.5 out of a wild card spot, one good week, and they're a game out, right? So I think the Mets, we still need to kind of push the brakes a little bit. Now, if you're the Cardinals, the Cardinals are in a worse situation than the Mets are. So I say give it some time. The Mets had a couple of brutal losses this week. They had you had a couple of clutch home runs from the Braves in that series. You had the walk-off in Game 3 from Ozzie Albies. Who was the other one in Game 2? It was someone had a clutch home run. Oh, Michael Harris. So, yeah, that was a pretty tough series for the Mets against that Braves team because they looked pretty good, and they just blew it in the end. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, and they also got a big blow, losing Pete Alonso. He got hit by a pitch. It looks like he's going to miss some time, at least a month. So that's like, if you're going to lose any bat, if you're the Mets, that's the worst bat you could lose right now, man. That's awful. But with that said, the offense has been pretty good lately. They've been 7th in WRC plus over the last week. So the offense has been doing well. It's just, again, the pitching. The pitching has not been consistent this year. They're one of the worst pitching staffs in the game. Scherzer and Senga have been pitching well, but Verlander and Carrasco, they've been pretty ineffective. I mean, Verlander got booed off the mound one game. I don't remember what start that was, a couple starts ago. But these guys, they just need to get their acts together, man. I think the Mets will be fine. If they're not, that's going to be one of the biggest choke jobs in the history of the game. I'm just saying. We got a super chat coming in from It's Your Boy, $4.99 super chat. Mets may get into the playoffs, but I can't trust an older team with low power and pitching that is weak and old. Mets offseason was overrated in my opinion. I feel like the Mets could have added another bat. I remember when they went after Verlander. I remember when that happened. They basically replaced DeGrom with Verlander. Hey, right now, the Mets are kind of winning in that department because they got a pitcher in Verlander. DeGrom is out for the year. So they dodged a bullet there, and they made the correct call. I think Verlander will get himself right. The guy is, I think he just needs to give him some time. I think once they're in full swing in the summertime, I think Verlander is going to be fine. But, I can see where you're coming from. saying that there were some overrated parts of the offseason. I really feel like they came up short on a bat. Could they have maybe done a bit more with the bullpen? You know, maybe they could have really added like another dominant arm to that bullpen. Because if they did, you know, of course, in the offseason, they didn't know what was going to be happening with Edwin Diaz. They couldn't foresee that happening. But if they had maybe made an aggressive ad, you know, for that bullpen to really add someone alongside him, I think that obviously could have gone just such a long way. I mean, hindsight 2020, but I think a big thing, you know, in the offseason, I think a big thing is you got to be adding pieces just in case things do happen elsewhere, right? Like losing Edwin Diaz. You don't see that happening, but you never know, right? And especially with bullpens. Like, it never hurts to add a bullpen piece. So I'm a little surprised that, like, the Mets did need to add Verlander, but again, they spent a ton of money on him. You know, could they have maybe used that money for a few other pieces instead? I don't know. I definitely see where you're coming from. I like that they did make moves, but I could see what you're saying there, saying, you know, a little overrated. I could see where you're coming from there. Thank you for the super chat. It's your boy. Moving on to number 19. Listen, I'm not a fan of this Brewers team. I'm not a fan. I've been saying this. I think the Brewers are fool's gold. I said this a couple of weeks ago, and people were up in arms saying, like, well, the Brewers are leading their division, and what are you doing? Why are you having them so low? They got swept by the A's. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this week. I don't like this Brewers team. I don't think it's good. They've been pitching pretty well lately. Overall in the season, they rank 24th in FIP. They are doing better in the last 7. They're 3rd overall. Burns, Julio Teheran, Colin Rea, they have been pitching pretty well. I'm just not a fan of the team. I don't know. Like, the offense is just, I don't know. It's not a great offense. They don't rank well. I don't know, the bullpen, I feel like, you know, when you had Hyde there, it was definitely, like, that was a really, really good back end of the bullpen. I don't know, the offense just feels underwhelming to me. Yelich he's been underwhelming now for a few years. I know they added a couple of pieces there, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the Brewers. The offense ranks 26th in baseball. It's just not a great team. I see you in the chat, humble Philly fan. They have had some injuries as well, so that is something to take note of. But I don't know. Like, I see a team. You see the Brewers, like, atop the division, and I think people, they just see that they're there at the top. But when you really look at the numbers, they're just not a great team. Like, they have a bad run differential. They rank badly in the offense. The pitching doesn't rank all that amazing. Colin Burns has been not his sharpest self. He hasn't really looked like the Corbin Burns that we're used to seeing. The middle relief in the bullpen isn't amazing to me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the Brewers. So, I don't know. For me, I have them at number 19. I know they're right near the top of the Central, but I'm not feeling them at all. At number 18, I got the Phillies. The Phillies are playing decent baseball lately. I thought about putting them up a little higher. I want to see a little bit more out of this Phillies team. They are playing well lately, 7-3 in their last 10. They swept the Tigers. They won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. Had a couple of walk-offs. Kyle Schwarber, walk-off home run against the Dodgers. That's awesome. I like when Kyle Schwarber does good things. Cody Clemens, he had a walk-off against the Tigers as well. The pitching this year has done well. They're 3rd in starting pitching on the year when it comes to Fangraph WAR. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, they have been struggling lately, but Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker, they have been pitching pretty well. Funny enough, the offense coming into this year, we saw a really good-looking offense, even without Bryce Harper to start things off. And overall in the year, they ranked 20th in offense, which is, like, that's crazy to me, considering, like, when you looked at that lineup, you're like, man, what a lineup this is. And then you got Harper back. And then, you know, Turner's gotten off to a really slow start, but he has been hitting well lately. Schwarber, I just mentioned, he's been hitting well. But I'm liking what the Phillies are doing lately. They're playing pretty decent baseball. I think you can make an argument to put them up higher. And, you know, honestly, man, do I want to? Because at number 17, now that I'm thinking about it, at number 17, I do have the Mariners. I'm really big on the Mariners pitching, and that's why I do have the Mariners at 17. That Mariners pitching, man, Ooh, it's so good. They rank second on the year in starting pitching. Kirby, Castillo, they've been pitching well. They did lose their last couple of starts. But the offense has been doing really well lately over the last 7 games. They rank 9th in offense. Julio Rodriguez, Teoscar Hernandez, who went 3 for 4 today with a home run. Ty France, Crawford, they've been hitting pretty well lately. But the results aren't quite there with the Mariners right now. They split with the Padres, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels. It's a good team. They're just not really getting the wins, so it's like I feel like it's just a matter of time before this Mariners team really takes off. I do have the Mariners ahead of the Phillies right now. I could see some people saying maybe you got to flip-flop those two. I'm going to hold with it because I do like this Mariners team. The Phillies have been hot. I'll give it another week. Let's see where they're both at next week. Let's see what happens. I think this Mariners team could get pretty hot over the next week. So I'll hold it for now. At number 16, I'll be honest with you, I was a little in limbo with this one, depending on the game tonight, but I got my Red Sox at 16. I think you can make an argument, could the Mariners even be ahead of the Red Sox? My Red Sox have not been playing great lately, but they just won their series tonight in the Bronx. That's big, so I'm okay with keeping the Red Sox at number 16 here. They lose 2 out of 3 all around Lacey. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But so the Red Sox, up and down week. You lost 2 out of 3 to the Guardians, but then you just won the series in the Bronx over the weekend. The offense hasn't been amazing lately. You've had a couple of guys doing well. Tristan Casas, he's got a couple of homers this past week. Devers had a couple of homers this past week. But starting pitching, up and down. Terrible news. Chris Sale going to the 60-day IL. Man, Chris Sale, please, if you're out there, if you're listening, my goodness, Chris Sale, please eat a sandwich. Please have like 2 cartons of ice cream, some whole milk. Please, I need Chris Sale and go start pumping some iron a little bit in the weight room, man. Because my goodness, I'm not trying to be mean, but Chris Sale, dude, like I don't know, man. Like, dude, it's not working. He's falling apart. I'm not trying to be a jerk over here with Chris Sale. But dude, it's like time and time again. There's just always something going on. And he just had, the stress reaction with his shoulder blade this past week. I feel bad for him. But at the same time, when I look at Chris Sale, I just don't see a guy that is just going to hold up. Like the guy he throws aggressively. He's got a pretty, what's the right word I'm looking for? He's got just the throwing motion that he has. It's aggressive. He's using a lot of effort in his delivery. And dude, when I'm just seeing this guy get injuries after injuries, it's like kind of says to me, and when I just see how he is, it's like, dude, he's like 6'6" and he weighs like 180 pounds. I think the guy really needs to just add like some mass to his frame so he holds up a little longer. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert by any means, but when I look at Chris Sale and I look at Jacob deGrom from last year, they both had the same injury, a stress reaction in their shoulder blade. I think back to the guys like Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson even. Believe it or not, Randy Johnson was actually a fiend in the weight room. He took after Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan, he was actually like a guy that helped Randy Johnson earlier in his career because Nolan Ryan saw potential with Randy Johnson. Because remember, if you go back to the early parts of Randy Johnson's career, he was pretty erratic. Like there was good stuff with him, but he hadn't really put it together. And then you go to Randy Johnson in the later years. This guy was always in the weight room. He was always working hard, in the off season, making sure he was built for a season. And look how long Randy Johnson lasted. Roger Clemens was, I know what people are going to say. They're going to point to the steroids, but, it was never revealed whether or not he took anything. Even if he did, it still kind of proves my point because the guy had mass on his frame. The guy was built for a full season. Even someone like Curt Schilling too. Curt Schilling was a guy that, had some mass on him. He had like just a bit of beef on him. There are other guys. I just think Sale is a guy that, like, he just doesn't look like someone to me. Obviously, the stuff is there. He's out of his mind. But I don't know. I just personally think Chris Sale is not built for, like, he's in his 30s now. I just think you got to do something different, man. Like, over the last few years, you're getting hurt. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's just kind of, you need to do something. You're almost in your mid-30s now. Something's got to give. And I'm tired of, something in his body just giving. He's got to, I think, get himself more built for a full season. I don't know. Not trying to be mean. I'm just pointing it out. Anyway, the starting pitching has been pretty up and down. It's been pretty decent over the last few games. Garrett Whitlock pitched really well against the Yankees. James Paxton's been pitching pretty well. Brian Bale looked really good tonight. So the pitching has actually looked really good. It's like since Chris Sale went down, these guys have been really stepping up. So, hey, I like to see the pitching. But the offense, it is slumping a little bit. They're not, at their peak. I will say this. I did a video on the Red Sox a couple of nights ago, whether or not the Red Sox should sell at the deadline. Of course, it is a little early. I still think you got to wait and see what ends up happening with the Red Sox. If we go take a look here, sharing the screen, the Red Sox are in a pretty interesting spot. They're not like in a prime spot in the wild card race. They're 4 out. I mean, that looks a lot better than 5 out from what it was earlier today. But, the Red Sox are going to be at a really interesting spot in a few weeks because here's the thing with Hyde. Remember what we saw last year? Hyde didn't really just start selling off pieces. He traded a couple of guys, Christian Vasquez to the Astros, but he held on to guys like Xander Bogaerts. And he really held on to as much as he could with the team because remember the Red Sox, they were still kind of hanging around in the wild card picture last year. So I think the Red Sox will end up doing the same thing this year, but there definitely are some pieces that they could trade. So I think if anything, the Red Sox will end up retooling, or they could possibly deal from a position of strength because they do have a good amount of bats. And Trevor Story is going to be coming back soon. So could they maybe trade a bat for some more pitching? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So, here we go. Getting back to it. I've rambled on about my Red Sox enough. So at number 15, we got the San Francisco Giants at number 15. The Giants, they got some pretty good underlying numbers. They rank really well in Sierra when it comes to pitching. It's one thing, the Giants, they're kind of a sneaky team to me. They're kind of right there in that wild card race. I don't sleep on the Giants. I think that's a team where they could surprise you a little bit. Last few weeks of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just kind of hanging out there. 2 games out, 3 games out, they give themselves a chance. But they swept the Rockies, but then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs this week. They had a big win today against the Cubs. They got some guys hitting. J.D. Davis, Peterson, they've been hitting well lately. Actually, today, Peterson and Estrada, they each had 2 home runs today. That's only the 3rd time in Giants history that they've had 2 guys hit 2 home runs in the same game. That's pretty cool. But the Giants, it's just it's an interesting team because when I'm looking at the Giants, I like some of their pitching. I like some of their bats. I'm just wondering if it's going to be enough. I think they're going to be in the mix. But again, I think they're a sneaky team. I don't think you should keep your eyes off them. This is where I might surprise some people. I got the Padres at 14. Listen, the Padres lost on a walk-off today, but they looked really good this week. I think the Padres are on the verge. I could be wrong. Hey, if I'm wrong, come back next week and flame me in the comments. I'm just saying. But I think the Padres, they're on the verge of getting pretty hot because everything is starting to look really good with the Padres. This past week, they won their final game against the Cubs in their 4-game series. They split with the Mariners, and then they won 2 out of 3 against the Rockies this weekend. They lost on the walk-off today, so they were there in the end. But the offense is doing pretty well lately. Gary Sanchez had 3 home runs this week. Gary Sanchez, what's going on here? Why are these ex-Yankees doing well with other teams. Well, we've seen it before, but it's just hilarious that Gary Sanchez is hitting well with the Padres and Aaron Hicks is hitting well with the Orioles. I find that hilarious. But Manny Machado, he's heating up. The bat's starting to come along. He's hitting .345, has a home run in his last 7 games. Soto, Tatis, Cronenworth, they're all starting to heat up a little bit. All of them are hitting over 300 in their last 7 games. You're getting good pitching from Waka, Musgrove, Snell. I think this Padres team, I think they're going to start getting a little hot here. I'm calling it now. And if I'm wrong, let me know in next week's show. I have no problem admitting I'm wrong, but I'm kind of liking the Padres right now. The record doesn't really show it at the moment, but they did look pretty good this past week. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this is one of the hot takes for the week. At number 13, I got the Pirates. I didn't want to give up on the Pirates. I didn't want to give up. Remember, the Pirates, they had the hot month to start things off in April, and they really cooled off in May. That video that I did on the Pirates about the Pirates are relevant again, that video did pretty well, and I think I got close to, like 20K views, I think. But I had a lot of people, when they were slumping, like towards the end of May, a lot of people were going to that video being like, hey, man, you spoke too soon, man. The Pirates, I knew they weren't good, blah, blah, blah. And now the Pirates are looking pretty good again. I did not want to give up on this team because I think it's a pretty decent team. Coming in, when we watch them in April, you're thinking, man, this is the Pirates. They haven't looked good in the last couple of years. But when you really look at the team, it's pretty decent. It's not an amazing team, but it's a pretty decent team. They got some pretty decent pitching. They got some good arms in the bullpen. They got a pretty decent lineup when you look at them. They lost O'Neal Cruz, but I thought this Pirates team still looked really good, even though they were slumping. But for this week, lately they've been playing pretty well. This past week, they did lose 2 out of 3 to the A's, but then they won 2 out of 3 against the Mets. Andrew McCutchen, 2,000th hit today. Gotta love it. Brian Hayes, man, that guy made a really good play today, first off, at third base. That guy's insane. But his bat has been really good lately, hitting .467 over his last 7 games. Brian Hayes, that guy's a monster. Brian Reynolds, Ji-Hwan Bae, Jack Sawinski, they've been hitting pretty well lately. Sawinski had a home run today. Bad news, though, Vince Velasquez, he's getting elbow surgery. Not Tommy John. I think it was I can't remember the ligament, the ulnar, whatever that is. It's not Tommy John. He's getting something else done with his elbow. But he's out for the season. He was looking pretty good. And then he just ran into problems with his elbow. You hate to see it. I will say, though, one thing about the Pirates that didn't look good this week was Roansy Contreras. That guy gave up 7 runs in a third of an inning. Roansy Contreras, man. My goodness. But Rich Hill, that guy's awesome. Rich Hill is the modern-day Jamie Moyer, if not better. He was really good in his last couple of starts. Johan Oviedo, he's looked really good over his last few starts. Hey, I'm feeling all right about the Pirates, man. I'm feeling all right. I got them at number 13. At number 12, I just did a video on this team yesterday. I mentioned it. I got the Marlins at 12. The thing with the Marlins, man, the video that I posted yesterday, the Marlins are the weirdest team in baseball. When I'm looking at statistics, when I'm looking at everything about this Marlins team, I don't like putting them at 12, but they are not your normal team. This is a very interesting team. They beat you to death with base hits. They beat you to death when they got runners in scoring position. They got awesome pitching. They got really good pitching. I will say that. It's just the offense is not conventional. It's not like, you don't got a few guys that are, hitting, at this point in the season. You don't got like a few guys that have, double-digit home runs. They got one guy that has double-digit home runs, and that's Jorge Soler. Luis Arraez, instead of hitting home runs, the guy just hits everything. He's hitting .398 right now. I do wonder if he'll hit 400. It's just so difficult, but if there's anyone that could do it, it's Luis Arraez. I'm just like this Marlins team. You got a couple of guys like Jesus Sanchez, Brian De La Cruz stepping up for them. I mean, my goodness, a lot of guys are stepping up for them. They're getting runs with just a lot of singles. Like that's really where they're good is they just get base hits. They make contact. If you remember coming into the year, the Marlins, the one thing they wanted was to make more contact. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're not hitting, they're not bashing out home runs. Actually, the Marlins aren't even hitting the ball hard this year. They rank in the bottom 5 in exit velocity and barrel percentage. They don't hit the ball hard. They make contact, but they're not mashing the ball. I like the way the Marlins are playing. Like, I like their style. Like, again, the statistics are going to show that they're not like one of these like amazing teams. They're not like the Atlanta Braves or they're not like the Rays or the Rangers. They're just playing their own baseball, and I can respect that. I like that. But the one thing that they are really good at is pitching. They're really good at pitching. Edward Cabrera, Yuri Perez, they've been awesome lately. Jesus Luzardo, Garrett, they've been solid. Sandy Alcantara. Listen, I'm just going to say this right now. I saw a video out there. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a video trashing on Sandy Alcantara, talking about how he was booed or whatever. Listen, I understand Sandy Alcantara is not really pitching in his Cy Young form, but the advanced numbers look really good. Well, I don't want to say really good, but they look a lot better than his ERA. The ERA was like a 5 coming into his start yesterday against the White Sox, but his FIP was in the mid-3s. So Alcantara, the advanced numbers painted a better picture than what the ERA said. I think Alcantara was just getting a little bit of bad luck this year, and the results haven't looked great. His stuff looks really good still. The guy's still throwing hard. He's got good movement on his pitches. Yeah, he's walking a few more guys this year. He's not the Cy Young Alcantara that we saw last year. But I saw this video. Yeah, like people were booing him. I don't know. That just weirds me out. But there's like a video just saying like how he's like one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year. And I'm like, does this person know how to read statistics? Like, you got Fangraphs perfectly open to your disposal, and you're saying Sandy Alcantara is one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year. Actually, Sandy Alcantara, when you look at all the advanced numbers, he's actually one of the better pitchers in baseball this year. He's not one of the top pitchers, but he's pretty good. He's been above average. He's not amazing, but he's definitely been above average. So I'm like wondering, like some of these YouTube channels out here, man, like, listen, if you're going to have a channel and you're going to have a big following, at least do your research. Please. I mean, come on. Do your research. It's not hard. Anyway, Sandy Alcantara, he's better than what the ERA says. But the offense, getting back to the offense, Luis Arraez, he's a machine, hitting .397. Jorge Soler had 2 home runs today. Joey Wendell's been hitting pretty good too. So I like this Marlins team. I'm not quite ready to put him as a top 10 team. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought about even putting him around like 14, 15, but I'm going to give them a lot of credit because they're playing their own kind of baseball right now. I like what they're doing. I'm going to give them credit there. It's not about the stats all the time. I'm rambling about stats and I'm going on a rant here about stats, but not all the time when it comes to a team. It's not going to be all about the stats. Sometimes it's all about just winning a game at the end of the day. Whatever you got to do to win a game, right? At number 11, I got the Angels. I'm liking this Angels team. They're pretty low-key lately. I don't think people realize that the Angels have actually been pretty decent lately. I think we're all just so used to the Angels not being there, but they're actually doing okay. They're doing all right. They're what, four games over 500 right now? I mean, if we go take a look here, or they're 5 games over 500. They're 36-31. They're a game and a half out in the wild card. They're 6-4 in their last 10. The Angels are there. And I think they're quietly doing it right now. So, taking a look here at the Angels, they swept the Cubs this week. They won 2 out of 3 against the Mariners. Ohtani has been red hot. Ohtani is going nuts right now. He is hitting 393 over his last 7 games. 452 is the on base, 870 with the slugging, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Ohtani is mashing right now, dude. Oh, my God. Zach Nato, Rengifo, they're hitting well. Guys that are cold, though, Trout, Rendon, and Ward. They're kind of slumping lately, so I need those guys to kind of pick it up. Detmers and Berea, they've been pitching okay lately. So, hey, you know, the Angels, they're kind of just, they're hanging out. They're hanging out right now. So, I got them at number 11. So, we're about to get into our top 10, but everyone, listen. You got to play Sorare MLB. You got to do it. I mean, it is, in my opinion, I'm loving playing this week. You know, this year I drafted my team on ESPN, and you know, I was kind of like, all right, another fantasy team. And then I was presented with Sorare MLB, and I'm like, wow, this is different. Let's see what this is like. And I've been enjoying it. I've actually got a couple of teams going for this week. I got one team in the Sandlot tournament, and I got another team in the Common All-Star tournament. And to be honest with you, this Sandlot tournament, you can actually, in this tournament that I'm in, I have a chance to win some bucks. They got a cash prize for this week. Now, I'm not going to get it, but I'm pretty happy with where I placed. 346 out of over 1,600 people in this one. So, hey, the higher you finish, especially in the tougher competitions, the tougher tournaments, the more prizes you can win. And but I've been playing a lot of the Common All-Star. I did not do well this week. Oh, man. Julio Urias, he was supposed to start this week, but he had a setback with a hamstring. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I didn't do good here. But Sorare MLB is just a really different way to play fantasy baseball, and it's really fun. I've really been enjoying it. And actually, I got a couple of rewards the last time. So let's see which cards that I won, because I did play well in the last tournament. So I got a starting pitcher. I got Logan Allen. Okay, that's fine, I guess. But we got another card here as well. Ooh, someone on my Red Sox. A starting pitcher. Oh, I got Garrett Whitlock. Garrett Whitlock just had a really good start. Hey, I'm actually okay with that. I like that. But everyone, to get started with Sorare, just click on the link in the description down below. It's completely free to get started. Just a different way to play fantasy baseball. You collect cards. You can collect different types of cards as well. Different types of cards. You can enter different kinds of tournaments. And you can also play in my own private league. So click that link in the description below as well, and you can join my private league with people that are here on the channel. So here we go, everyone. Back to the power rankings. There we go. We're in the top 10. Here we go. All right. So I know some of you, I already can see it. I'm going to get the comments. I'm going to get the comments here in the chat. I'm going to get the comments on the video after this stream is done. I already know it. I can already see it. I think I already saw someone in the chat say something. I'm ready for it. You can flame me all you want. I know I'm going to get some backlash for this one. I'm actually, maybe not even this one in particular. I think actually some of you will be okay with this one. At number 10, I got the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins over the weekend, but then they won 3 out of 4 against the Astros. The Blue Jays weren't looking good there. Remember, I wasn't here last week, so I'm going back 2 weeks ago. The Blue Jays weren't looking so hot a couple of weeks ago, but they've been playing really good baseball lately. Taking a look at the standings, as we just saw, we were looking at the Angels. We saw the Blue Jays only a half game behind the Astros. They're on their tails, man. The Blue Jays playing good baseball lately. 7-3 in their last 10. They're getting a lot of production from a lot of different guys. Even Kevin Biggio had a 3-run home run today. Big 8th inning ended up leading to a win. This year, the offense ranks really well. They're 5th in offense on the year. They're getting a lot of guys stepping up lately. Whit Merrifield is having himself a fun year. Gotta love it. Whit Merrifield, man. Brandon Belt's been hitting well lately. But the pitching has been really good with the Blue Jays lately. Gausman, Bassett, Barrios. These guys are awesome. I mean, Alek Manoah did get sent down. Let's see if Alek Manoah can get himself back on track. Maybe have a good second half of the season. This Blue Jays team, they're very hot and cold, but they're on a hot streak right now. They're doing really well. So I'm liking what the Blue Jays are doing. I got them in the 10 spot. Here we go. Now, this is where I know I'm going to get some I'm going to get some chatter here. I already know it. I got the Twins at number 9. And the reason I got the Twins ahead of the Blue Jays, well, the Twins just beat the Blue Jays. But listen, I like this Twins team. I know. I'm looking at the record. It's not great. I understand that. But they got a plus 40 run differential. I think they are better than what the record says. They're 33-33. I know. I get it. You're up in arms right now. You're looking at me. You're unsubscribing from my channel right now. You already have your mean comments already typed away. You're ready to just implode. I understand here. But the Twins, I think, are better than what their record is. They have a plus 40 run differential. So if you want to just look at it from a simple point of view, that's, one thing to kind of just back up my argument a little bit. But with the Twins, they rank really well with pitching this year. Their starting pitching is so good this year. Joe Ryan, Sonny Gray, Pablo Lopez, they've been pitching really well lately. They've had really good starting pitching all year. I'm biased towards starting pitching, so maybe that's kind of, teetering my argument here, in a biased way, because I just like starting pitching and I like their rotation. The offense, I love some of the pieces in the offense, and Carlos Correa is starting to heat up a little bit. 2 home runs this week. He had 2 doubles today. I know this is probably not the most popular pick, but I do think the Twins are better than their record. That's pretty much my only argument for that. That's pretty much my one argument to back that up. I just think they got great pitching. I like pieces in the bullpen. I like their team. I just like their team, But they got to start winning some games. Now, I'm going to give them 1 week. If they do not get this together this next week, they're out of my top 10. They're out. I'm taking them out. I'm giving them a chance. I'm going to give them another week to show me that they can do it. And they can kind of just, first off, get back over 500 and try and prove me right, Minnesota. If anyone on the Twins is watching this right now, can you just please try and prove me right so I can come for next week's power rankings and say, I told all of you, I told you that the Twins are actually pretty decent. So I know record doesn't look amazing, but I'm looking at where they rank in terms of FIP for starting pitching. I'm looking at where they rank in terms of Sierra. Their offense is doing okay this year. I like a couple of pieces in their bullpen. I just like the Twins. So that's pretty much it. But I do like some of their stats. That's pretty much kind of the big driving force. So I like the Twins. Anyway, moving on. I know some of you are just irate right now. I can smell it in the chat. It smells of a strong hatred in the chat right now. Here we go. Moving on. Who do I got next? This team is slumping a little bit. What's going on with the Astros right now? The Astros are not looking all that great. The Astros are not looking good. Where are my notes? Here we go. So, Astros, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Blue Jays. Just talked about that. They also lost 2 out of 3 to the Guardians over the weekend. The pitching is really struggling lately. They're 26 in FIP over the last 7. That's the moneymaker of this team, right? Remember the offense in the early goings. It wasn't really clicking. They got Altuve back, and that kind of started to help a little bit. And actually, the offense is doing pretty well lately. But the pitching is just really slumping lately. So as a whole, at least. Also, bad news on Lance McCullers Jr. It's looking like it's going to take him some more time to get back. So maybe they could end up going out could they maybe go for some more starting pitching at the deadline? Maybe be in the mix for a couple of guys out there? We'll have to wait and see. But the pitching needs to get it together. However, the offense, one guy to point out Jose Abreu, 2 home runs this week. Jose Abreu, could this guy finally be getting himself right? But Altuve, Bregman, and Tucker, those guys have been slumping. They got to pick it up a little bit. Yordan Alvarez, he's been fine lately. He's been pretty good. So that's all I got for the Astros right now. They dropped a couple of spots from the last power rankings, but they have been struggling. So I got them at number 8. Up next, I got the Yankees at 7. They just lost their series to my Red Sox. But, I think the Yankees, they're kind of low-key playing okay. I think the Yankees, they're not, it's like kind of a weird, it's like, I have a hard time talking about the Yankees. It's like, I don't think they're at their peak yet. I don't think I really want to see Rodon in a Yankee uniform. I got to see this guy pitch. Because to me, if that guy comes back and he is on top of his game, he threw a bullpen today, he threw 30 pitches, I think 29 to be exact. But if that guy comes back and pitches well in the second half, and you got Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, a 1-2 punch in the playoffs, we all saw if you have a 1-2 punch in the playoffs, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola last year, you can do things. I don't care what team you're going up against. You can go up against the Rays. You can go up against the Rangers in the playoffs. I don't care who. If you got a good 1-2 punch, you have a chance, right? Who was picking? You had a couple of people last year picking the Phillies to beat the Braves, but pretty much everyone and their mother was picking the Braves to beat the Phillies, right? And look what happened, right? So if you have good starting pitching in the playoffs, anything can happen. So I'm not I still don't know what to think about this Yankees team because the offense is weird, and obviously Judge is out, so they've been having some injuries. The offense is pretty mid right now. It's just, I don't know. You got guys like Willie Calhoun out there hitting home runs against my Red Sox. You got Bowers in that lineup. I don't know. It's just it's just an odd Yankee lineup right now. It's just weird. But Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's been hitting pretty well lately. Just saying. Gleyber Torres, he homered yesterday. But right now the Yankees, I think they're kind of just, they're at the back end of the top 10. I think they're just a really good team. I just don't think, I'm not quite sure what to fully think of this Yankee team yet. But that's where I'm at with the Yankees right now. I got them at 7. I think there's an argument. Maybe you could put them down a little bit lower. But I like the spot for them. I like number 7. Oh, man. I'm just saying with this next team. Listen. Everyone. I don't like to toot my horn very much, okay? I make fun of myself more than anything, but I've been freaking saying this about the Diamondbacks. I've been saying this. I'm just saying. This Diamondbacks team is good. It's a good team. I knew coming into this year, I was calling it for a wild card. Right now, they could end up winning this division. They can win this division right now. I don't know. I think maybe, there are a couple other people out there that were feeling good about the Diamondbacks too, but I've been saying this about the Dbacks going back to last year. I just love that they're putting it together, man. They're just doing so good. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 5 straight games. They won both their series this week. They won against the Nationals. They won their series against them. They swept the Tigers. The offense is 6 on the year. Corbin Carroll is out of his freaking mind. In his last 7 games, he's hitting .433. He has an OPS over 1,400 in his last 7 games. He's got 4 homers, 9 RBIs. That guy's winning Rookie of the Year. It is done. Book it. Over. Done. Kaput. That's done. Perdomo, Marte, Emmanuel Rivera. These guys are just hitting really well lately. Rojas and Moreno too. Rojas, sorry. And Moreno, they've been hitting really well. It's just a good offense right now. These guys are clicking. They're getting good pitching this year. Ever since Madison Bumgarner left, it's been just good pitching. Gallen didn't look amazing today, but he's had himself a good year. Kelly, Davies, they've been looking really good. We actually got some comments here from Mike Hazen talking about trade deadline needs. This was from a few days ago. They were 36-25, but they've added on 4 more wins on that. And he did talk about what he was thinking at the trade deadline. So he's saying here, certainly pitching. We've been playing very dramatic baseball lately. We either win it or lose it in the ninth inning, and that's not a great way for a baseball team to go through life. We'd like it to be 6-0 in the seventh inning and then just ease on through the last 6 or 9 outs of the game. That has not been happening to us, so we're going to need to address the pitching for sure. From a starting depth standpoint to get through the last 4 months of the season and or to shore up our bullpen. We play good defense. The Dbacks are one of the best defensive teams in baseball, and I think that's something to not underrate about this team. I don't know that our one-run scoring is going to stay at the clip it's staying at right now, which is going to put more pressure on our pitching staff. I think that's an area that almost every contender will probably have to address, but it's certainly one we're going to need to address. So I think they could use a bit of both, right, when it comes to the pitching. Actually, let me pull up here. Their depth chart. So I do think they need another starter. Personally, I think they need another starter. When I'm looking at this rotation, I see Gallen, I see Kelly. But when I think Gallen and Kelly, I like those guys. I love Gallen. I think Gallen is completely fine as the ace of the staff. I like Kelly, but I feel like they need one other guy, right? It feels like they need a third piece in this rotation. They got a few good arms in the back end of this bullpen. Miguel Castro, he's been doing really well this year. Chafin, he's been having himself a pretty solid year. Mago and Adams, they've been doing pretty well. But it feels like they could use another arm, right? I'm fine with this offense, honestly. I'm okay with it. Sure, could you maybe make an upgrade somewhere? But I'm okay with this offense. Sure, you could always make an upgrade somewhere, but I don't think that's... I think it's more necessary for them to add some pitching. Like he said, I agree. I think if you could add a starter and a bullpen guy, I think that's going to be perfect for the Diamondbacks. Here's the thing with the Diamondbacks. They got pieces in the minor leagues that they could deal. They got a deep farm. Listen, man, they're going to be scary at the deadline. They're going to make some moves. So, really liking how they're playing lately. I wanted to put them up a little higher than this, but I'm okay with 6 for right now. I'm okay with 6. I know, some people are going to get on to me about this. I do have the Dodgers at 5. I think the Dodgers right now, they haven't been playing amazing lately. So this next week is going to be really big, right? The Dbacks, they moved up. The Dodgers, they're kind of, I think they were at 5 last week or 2 weeks ago. I think they were at 5. So the Dbacks are right on their tails now. Usually with me, I don't like to leapfrog teams, especially in the top 10. I usually like to give it a couple of weeks and kind of see if teams can kind of bounce back. So for the Dodgers, I'm going to give them a chance here to kind of get themselves right. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They lost both their series this week. The Dodgers, statistically, they rank very well in offense. They rank well in pitching, both starting pitching and the bullpen. However, the starting pitching is an issue because there's not a whole lot of depth right now. There's not a lot of depth. The Dodgers starting pitching staff, Urias had a setback with his hamstring. They're running on fumes right now. You got Kershaw and Miller pitching well. But that's pretty much it. I'm worried about the Dodgers rotation. I'm seeing a lot of people in here. They're mad right now. They're mad. I see Jack Crick saying awful. I understand, but again, listen to me, everyone. Listen to me. I'm going to give it one more week because that's how I do things in the top 10. I know some people are saying right now I agree with you. I agree with you right now. Right now, I think the Diamondbacks are a better team than the Dodgers. I think they're a better team. So now you're probably thinking right now, well, why did you put them ahead of the Dodgers? Because I like to do it. I like to give it a little more time. All right, that's just me personally. Right now, I think the Diamondbacks are a better team. I do think they're a better team right now, right? But when it comes to top 5, listen, you gotta. I like to let it breathe a little bit more. That's just me. Next week, I promise you, if the Diamondbacks are still playing this way, and the Dodgers are still playing their way, oh, easily, Diamondbacks are in the top 5 next week. I'm just letting it play out a little bit more. I'm letting it play out, because here's what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? All of you that are getting mad at me in the chat right now, you know what's going to happen? I'll put the Diamondbacks in the 5 spot, and then the Diamondbacks end up losing 4 out of 5, and then the Dodgers end up winning, 5 out of 6. Watch. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. And everyone's going to be like, oh, man, you jumped the gun a little too quick. And then we'll be back here in this same spot, and then I'm putting the Dodgers back at 5, and I'm putting the Diamondbacks lower. Give it another week. Give it another week. Just be a little more patient. It's okay. It's going to work out. Diamondbacks fans, if your team is that good, listen, I've been on the Diamondbacks, I've been on the Dbacks train for 2 years now. I've been the number 1 supporter of the Diamondbacks for what feels like 2 years. I've been the number 1 fan. And here they are. I can't stop raving about the Diamondbacks. But if they are that good, they'll keep playing this way. And then they will be number 5 next week. So just have some patience. Just have some patience. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. But if it doesn't, I'm just saying. Dodgers at 5. That's my hot take for the week. What do we got next? What else can people get mad at me for? At number 4, we got... Do I have the... I feel like hold on. I might have messed up something. I'm always messing up something. No. I got it right. Okay, here we go. At number 4, we got the Orioles. They're playing good baseball. They got good baseball. They've won 4 straight games. And, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers. They won the final game, and then they swept the Royals. They're getting some good hitting lately from Gunnar Henderson. Listen to this. Gunnar Henderson hitting .458 with a 1.480 OPS and 4 home runs over his last 7 games. He's going nuts. Gunnar Henderson's awesome. Man, you know who else is awesome? I've been ragging on this guy for, it feels like 10 years. Aaron freaking Hicks. Listen, maybe it was just the Yankee jersey. I don't know. Maybe just, I don't know what it was. Aaron Hicks, all of a sudden, is a really good player again. This guy's been awesome. He has come alive with the Orioles. He's getting base hits. He's hitting some home runs. He's driving in runs. Aaron Hicks has been awesome. Listen, there's just something, I don't know, some guys, you're right. Rafael Diaz, I see you in the chat. It's the beard. Listen, I know from experience. The beard makes you feel better. Some guys, it's weird because some guys go to the Yankees and they just play better. But then some guys go to the Yankees and they just are awful. Like, they can't play for the Yankees. Like, it's a weird thing. I don't know what it is. I saw a tweet today. I've been saying this too in the last couple of years. Like, is it like a coaching staff thing? I think they just have, like, the Yankees have their ways of how they do things. And it's just not going to work for everyone, right? For some guys, it's perfect, right? So for some guys, the Yankees do really well when it comes to bringing in guys that have kind of lost their way. And then they kind of figure, I remember last year with Matt Carpenter. Matt Carpenter went to the Yankees last year and just, holy crap, like, just turned into Barry Bonds, right? But then there's some guys that just, they go there and they're just awful, right? So it's kind of both. Like, you can't just say, like, oh, the Yankees, every guy that goes there, they just play worse. Because, no, that's not the case, because they have had guys do well there. But Aaron Hicks, man, like, he clearly, I think, just needed a new voice in his ear. I think the Yankees should have cut him way sooner. I was ragging on that guy for God knows how long. He just looked lost. Like, he didn't look, like, even when you just watched him out in the field, he gave up very easily. It's like he just it was like he was lacking confidence, right? I don't know. I'm not a psychologist by any means. I'm a potato that sits at my desk. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it just seemed like the guy just really lacked confidence. And he went to a new situation, a team that's playing really well. And honestly, I guarantee he went there. Maybe there was something mechanical that they saw with his swing, and they just said, hey, just play your game. I guarantee you Probably really wasn't all that much. Maybe an adjustment or two that they found with his mechanics. And he's playing really well. You got to love it for Aaron Hicks, man. But Austin Hayes, Ryan O'Hearn, they're hitting well lately as well. They're getting good pitching. They're second in FIP in their last 7 games. Wells, Gibson, Irvin pitching really well. Orioles are a good team. They're a good team. I like this Orioles team. Great bullpen. Love this Orioles team. I love this comment. I love this comment in the chat. Foxy. Judge with a beard beating all the records. I need to see Aaron Judge with a beard. I mean, it's never going to happen because he's with the Yankees for the rest of his career unless he gets traded. Can someone make a Photoshop of Aaron Judge with a beard? We got to see it, man. Like, could you imagine Aaron Judge? Well, I mean, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it at all. Like, Aaron Judge, he's like the best freaking player in the universe when he's healthy. Craz 951. That's a good point. Arson Judge does have a beard. Arson Judge. Rafael Diaz. Can he even grow one? I don't know. I mean, he has like that smooth baby skin. I don't know if it's capable. He's a big man. There's a lot of testosterone running through that body. So I guarantee that guy can grow a beard. I don't know. I need to see it, though. I need to see Aaron Judge with a beard. As a fan of beards, I need to see this. Anyway, can the Yankees just get rid of that policy, please? Like, seriously. Like, what is it? It's 2023. You know, the George Steinbrenner era is over, and the 27 Yankees and the, 35 Yankees and all these. It's like, come on. It's a new time now. Let's just get rid of the shaving policy. I don't understand it. I worked at a grocery store from 2007 to 2014, and they had a policy where you had to shave. I looked like a giant redheaded baby every single time I shaved. I had razor burn. My poor fair skin was always getting razor burn from, using I was using the Gillette, whatever, the Mach 5 or whatever. I don't even use it anymore. But then I switched over to a single blade razor, and I was still getting razor burn. Like my poor skin. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, Yankees, come on. Stop making you guys shave. At number 3, we got the Braves. They're playing great baseball. They swept the Mets 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. They're first in offense over the last 7 games. Ronald Acuna Jr., this guy is still just going nuts lately. Ozzie Albies had the walk-off homer against the Mets. They're just clicking, man. Darno, Riley, Ozuna, Marcell Ozuna. This guy's hitting, man. Orlando Arcia, Michael Harris. He had the big home run the other night. They've been hitting great. The offense is just clicking right now with the Braves. What the heck am I saying? I got to go to bed. With the Braves. Bryce Elder, he continues to pitch really well. Jared Schuster, he's picked up a couple of wins in his last couple of starts. Remember Mike Soroka came back? He hasn't been too effective. Let's see if he can get himself right. Spencer Strider got roughed up against the Mets, man. 4 innings, 8 earned. 4 innings, 8 earned. Goodness, Spencer Strider, his ERA jumped up like 2 runs. Goodness. I love Spencer Strider, but man, he got killed. But the Braves, they're looking really good. This Braves team is just so good all the way around. Great offense lately. The offense is definitely carrying this team. Here we go. We got the Rangers at number 2. I'm going to be honest with all of you. I really thought about putting the Rangers at number 1. I did. I said coming into the weekend, I'm like, you know what? If the Rangers take 2 out of 3 against the Rays, there's a chance I could put them at number 1. There's a chance. And they couldn't do it. They did not get the job done. They won a game, but the Rays ended up taking 2 out of 3. So, but this Rangers team, like Michael Scott says in the office, they are not to be truffled with. The Rangers, they're dangerous. This offense is nuts. They're hitting really well lately. Corey Seager, Garcia, Duran, Young, they're all hitting. Evaldi is pitching out of his mind. Chaim Bloom, why can you not have a guy like Nathan Evaldi? I don't understand. John Gray, they've been pitching really well. God, this Rangers team is good. They just ran into the best team in Major League Baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, who once again have the number 1 spot. Do you know how badly I want to take the Rays out of the 1 spot? I want someone to take them out. Like, I have to put the Rays at number 1. I mean, there's no choice. They're that good. I want so badly. I hate the Rays. Like, the Rays drive me insane. Do you know how badly I want the Rangers to take them out of the 1 spot? The Braves even. Who knows? Maybe the Orioles. I hate it. But the Rays are so good. They won 2 out of 3 against the Rangers. They swept the Twins. McClanahan looked good today. Franco with a 3-run home run today. Paredes had 3 home runs in the last 7 games. Raley, Mejia, Lowe have been hitting well. Glasnow pitched well against the Rangers. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. Eflin's been pitching well. What else is there to say? They're good. Like, I hate how good the Rays are. I hate it. Make it stop, please. We got a super chat coming in from none other than SoundFX09. How you doing, SoundFX? How you doing? It's been a couple of weeks. Braves remain at number 3. Suppose so. I always love reading your comments because I can feel the enthusiasm in certain spots. Statement sweep of the Mets and a series win over the Nats. Odd week ahead at Detroit. Then back home versus Colorado. That's not a bad week, honestly. Good week. Let's keep the good times rolling. Put some respect on us. Listen, I know I'm a sucker for this Rangers team, man. I do think next week the 2-3 is going to be really interesting for next week because the Braves are really hot and the Rangers had a good week. They lost their series, but they've been playing really well lately over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not ready to take the Rangers out of the 2 spot yet. Remember, I had the Braves at number 2 for a long time. So 2-3 is going to be interesting. I'm looking at those 2 spots for next Sunday. Honestly, can the Rays just lose like 5 straight games and then the Rangers or the Braves can win 5 straight games and then that just takes them out? Like, please, can that just happen? Anyway, that's all I got, everyone. That's all I got. If you can, hit that like button for me on your way out. I hate saying that. I hate saying hit the like button, but it does help me. That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. If you can just hit the like button. Also, SoundFX, thank you for the super chat. I forgot to say that. Yeah, the Braves, I think they're very good. They're very good. I like that Braves team. But on your way out, everyone, if you can, hit the like button for me. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. We've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately. And, hey, welcome. If you are new from the last few videos that I've posted, welcome to the channel. I appreciate having you around. I can't believe that all of you actually like to watch my potato face talk about baseball. My goodness. If you can, hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. Share the stream if you can. And everyone, like I said earlier about Sorare, the link is in the description down below. Get yourself started. Go draft your team. And then when you go draft your team, go join my private league. You can go join by clicking the other link. So, everyone, go play Sorare. It'll mean a lot to me. Everyone, I'm out of here. I'm tired. I feel like I don't even know what I'm saying right now. My brain's not working. My brain never works, but it's not really working right now because I'm tired. Have yourself a great night. We'll be back here next Sunday. Oh, but don't forget, Wednesday night, we're going to be talking to John Bitzer of BaseballTradeValues.com. You're going to want to be here. I know you all like trades. I know you do. I like trades. You like trades. We all like trades. So we're going to be talking trades Wednesday night. Be here or don't be here, I guess. That works too. But you should be here because it's going to be fun, and I know you like fun. Don't forget, I posted a few videos in the past week. Go check those out as well. I posted 2 over the weekend. So, hey, if you want to go hear me talk about the Red Sox and the Marlins, go check those out. I got a couple other videos, early trade candidates that I think could be definitely potential candidates at the deadline. So check that out if you haven't already. Go check out any other videos on my channel. So, what time is it? It's almost 11:30. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Everyone, have yourself a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.